Hey everybody, Stu Smith here going live. I am happy to be here. Another day of yeah, fixing something over here on got to turn the volume down over here on Instagram, messing up with my head. So hear myself talk twice. All right, so happy new year. I hope you guys are well and you have started the year off right. So far I've worked out every day this year, continuing on. So I've written an article for military.com yesterday, and it is called um, Walk More in 24. Right? I'm trying to come up with some other silly sayings that people use for their New Year's resolutions. Unfortunately, the word resolution is no longer in our vocabulary after probably January 28th. So by February, we've already stopped. So I'm not even going to start. So let's try to do this. Let's try to do something that just adds a little bit more of something in 24. More walking, more moving, more stretching. So let's lay off any of the bad stuff that we tend to do more of, like more eating chips and soda. Let's lay off that. Let's do less of that, but more of the good stuff. That's how all this stuff works. So I know a lot of you guys are on holiday. So just to let you know, if you haven't been here before, we are going to do a live Q&A. Um, and we'll also do some CSS critiques live with submitted videos from people who sent them in. Uh, people send me videos of them swimming all the time. I highly recommend it if you don't have a coach there to help you, or you don't want to do that, that's cool. You can watch some of these videos and maybe pick up a few techniques and apply it to your swimming. But I do recommend you filming yourself swimming, or probably can't do it yourself, but have somebody film you swimming, like walking alongside you so you see everything that you do, every pull, every breath, every kick, every glide. And then you compare it to somebody who's crushing it. I got plenty of videos over on Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube. You can find plenty of them that I have posted over the years um, to just compare to. Some of these guys have gone on to do great things with their swimming and military spec ops careers. They started somewhere and had a few first timers today, even that did not barely made it across the pool using the right technique. So, I did tell somebody to wear their shirt for today. So let me take off this sweater. Got a gift today from guys. So not sure what it means, but it's a cool shirt. So I appreciate the gift. So somebody just asked, I don't do any teaching with freestyle, only CSS. You can find anybody to teach you freestyle. You cannot find anybody to teach you the CSS. So, you go to any swimming pool, there's somebody there swimming freestyle that can teach you how to do it. You don't need special help with freestyle. Though I can teach it. It's just easy to learn and anybody knows it. How does one become so handsome? Stop it. Hey man, not bad for 55. I am 55 this month. So I feel pretty good for 55. Feel like my knees were talking to me, but still getting after it with the best of them. All right. So let's take some before I tell you what, before we take some questions, because I got a lot of them popping up. I want to just read something to you about this movement. Um, Move more in 24. walk more in 24. Here's something that I just read a great study on. 3 minutes of walking or simple body weight resistance exercises at a light to moderate intensity every 30 minutes of sedentary time. So that means if you're sitting on your butt watching TV or at work for 8 hours, right? Get up every 30 minutes and do 3 minutes of activity, and it has a positive influence on metabolic factors directly related to cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Now, this isn't going to be one of those things that reduces a lot of weight on you, but it can make your blood work a little healthier. Now, I'm not one of those to say that, hey, walking is a great workout for you because it's all relative, right? Like some of my guys that are preparing for military service and law enforcement and firefighter, walking is not enough, right? So it depends on what you're trying to do. However, if you're just trying to stay healthier and fight off some of the typical chronic illnesses that occur later in life from cancer, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, uh, shoot, there's just so many. Stroke, heart disease, right? Just by moving a little bit more, you can help yourself fight those off. And there's some really cool studies that I just wrote in this article. I'll tag it in this description whenever it gets posted. It's not even posted yet, so I'm just talking about it. But basically, they did a study on people who sat 12 hours a day, right? And they did their blood work before and after this. Seeing how they did like 3 months, 4 months, and they had a huge change in their all their scores, all their health scores. So something to think about. We've been walking for centuries. Something that even works better is walking after meals. So 3 to 10 minutes of walking after every meal has the same um, health benefits as just walking every 30 minutes of sedentary time. So one thing I'm not trying to do here as a coach is to come up with some 60, 90, 30-day challenge because fitness isn't a 30-day challenge. It is not something that you should start and stop, right? This is a lifestyle that should be part of your daily habits as much as brushing your teeth is or whatever. Um, so focus on it in that type of mindset, but it doesn't have to be hard. Like you don't have to join a gym to have beneficial effects of fitness. Just walk your dog, walk your dog more. If your dog's fat, walk them. Maybe you'll both lose some weight. All right. So anyway, it's a good article. It's called "Walk More in 24." You can change that with "Move More in 24," "Swim More in 24," whatever it works. So somebody asked, "Do I have a recon training book?" I do. In fact, if you go to Stu Smith Fitness, you can see it. Thought I had a copy of one, but I do not. Recon, yeah, I have some Marine Corps workouts too. Um, all right, so I'm going to shut that down. Shut that down. Let's see what other question it has. What's PT schedule for upper class midshipmen? Um, they kind of work out on their own. I mean, there are some company events that they have to be a part of, but for the most part, if you're at the Naval Academy, um, a lot of the training is on your own. You have to do a sport there, whether that's an intramural sport or it's a club sport or varsity sport. You still have to be doing something. But if you're not on one of those, uh, sports that take up a lot of your time, you can add in extra PT on your own. A lot of people do. Um, let's see. So one thing I want to share with you, if I miss your question, just email me, um, stu@stusmith.com, and I'm happy to answer it over email as well. So Let's see. Let's take some more questions. Looks like we got a whole bunch of them here over on YouTube. So I'm on StreamYard right now, so I'm actually streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all at once. So pretty handy little tool here if you haven't tried it out. But it does cause for a whole bunch of questions coming in. Um, how hard would you say it is for guys in their 20s to get elite at swimming via a master swim program? Would that be enough to help a guy crush WaterCon for PJs? It will get you in swimming shape. It will help you with proper techniques for swimming, but I have seen people who are good swimmers not do well in water competence courses, which is treading with weight, buddy breathing with a snorkel. That's a tough one. PJs, that's a tough challenge. Um, body drags, underwater swims, over unders, um, buddy swims, treading, treading with weight, swimming with fins. So there's more to it than what a master's swimming program can do. So I'm going to say no, it is not enough to help a guy crush WaterCon for PJs. It is great for getting in shape for swimming, but you need to do more than just swim to be in shape. You need to run, you need to ruck, need to lift weights so you're a little more durable. So there's a lot of gravity things that you have to get used to as well as swimming. Tied to above, what swim stroke should aspiring PJs be focused on? How familiar should they be with all major swim strokes? I don't think you necessarily need to be familiar with all of them. However, it would be helpful to do this. One, you can take the swim test swimming freestyle. That's probably going to be your fastest. However, if you learn CSS, you can also take it with CSS, which is going to be a little more efficient for you. But the structure of their fitness test is they swim last. So whatever juice you have left after doing pull ups, push ups, sit ups, and a mile and a half run, then you swim. Of course, you do two 25-yard underwaters as well. Then you swim 500 meters. Um, you really swim whatever you want. I mean, freestyle, CSS, you can do a combo. Um, but I will say this for later in the training, you should also know breaststroke because breaststroke kick is really helpful with treading, especially if you're trying to apply it to an egg beater type motion. So let's start from the top freestyle, CSS, breaststroke kick. Those three are important. And of course, underwater strokes, which is basically just a breaststroke pull out with a kick and glide. Happy New Year. If you are between 17 and 29 watching this and you're not in the military, please join up. America needs you. Ah, okay. I think most people watching this are in that club. However, we do have some that have already served. Some people are just like my style of fitness, which is cool too. So we welcome all of you. Let's see. Let me see questions over here. While I know it is a goal dependent, what program would you recommend for a father of three, age 36, looking all great, all round fitness? Um, I do have a program I call Tactical Fitness Over 40. That's a 4-part series that basically works you from like having to rebuild because you're just achy and in pain. You need to restart. So it's kind of a beginner phase, and there's the next level, taking it to the next level is what it's called. And then there's ready to compete phase 3, which is kind of an intermediate advanced level. And then there's tactical fitness for the athlete over 40, which is very advanced. They're actually what I do. But each one of those introduce you something that is very important at especially at your age and older is a mobility day. I'm telling you, I live by it. I swear by it. If you haven't introduced a mobility day into your week, you should. I don't care if it's an off day, right? You're just doing nothing because it's not really that hard. It's an easy day. We apply it in the middle of the week because it's a nice little day off in the middle of the week after 2 or 3 hard days. And that fourth day, we focus more on mobility, flexibility. Then we take that immediately and apply it to treading and swimming streamline and technique and egg beater stroke and underwater swimming. All of that stuff goes really well together with some increased mobility work because you need it for streamlining, right? If you're streamlining your shoulders over your head, you need it for hips, knees, and ankles to kick well. Whether that's a scissor kick, it's an egg beater kick, swimming with fins, you need nice ankle mobility. So all of those things are very important. And yeah, for me, adding that mobility day in the middle of the week was life changing. I thought my hips were frozen. I was done. I was old. I was like 45 years old and just my hips hurt so bad. And I just started stretching and started doing some foam rolling, massage tooling, stretching, dynamic stretches, static stretches, all of it. Basically yoga based stretching and completely changed around to where, I'm now 55 and still running. Ran, I don't know, 6, almost 7 miles yet last week or yesterday. Various types from sprinting to running stairs and goal pace stuff. So I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't add that mobility day. So if you really want to change your life and make things actually leave a gym and not feel pain, um, try that mobility day in the middle of the week. But yeah, I would say start with that tactical fitness over 40. If you like that type of breakdown of a workout, you would really like the seasonal tactical fitness programs, which get a little harder. Only problem is, as a father of three, um, it can get time consuming. So you may want to break up, a 5 day a week workout, maybe make it a 7 day or make it, finish it in 8 days. So you're not doing the whole column in one day because it does have calisthenics and lifting. It has running, it has swimming in it. So you may want to pick and choose which cardio you want to do for the day instead of do everything. Unless you have the time to do it. And that's a different story. What PST score do you think would certainly get you a slot into SOAS? You know what? From everything I've been talking to the guys over there that are, you know, involved in programming and running that, they're not necessarily looking for the highest scores. They're looking at the overall person. So your grades matter, your leadership matters, any athletics you've done in college matters. Um, and then, yeah, your PST scores matter. I always recommend my guys to be under 9 minute on the mile and a half, under 9 minutes on the swim. If you could be 8, that's even better. Um, and then 80 push-ups, 80 sit-ups, 20 pull-ups. Right? If you can go 80 to 100 on the push-ups and sit-ups, that's great too. A little bit of gravy. So anywhere in that range is what I would recommend. But not only do I recommend the guys trying to be officers and go to SOAS do that, I also recommend the enlisted guys to do that if they really want a good foundation to get to and through, that type of selection program. Where's the best place to get the info on how to tread properly for spec war? Good question. Well, I will tell you this. If you learn treading from a water polo coach, you're going to learn probably the best way to tread, period, because they are the professional treading coaches, they're professional treaders. That's what they do. However, if you Google treading mobility, in fact, treading mobility, I'm putting it in right now. Treading mobility, Stu Smith, in the same search on Google, you will find an article that I wrote with videos in it. In fact, I'm going to put it in this comment section here. I know on Instagram, you can't really pull up um, hyperlinks, but if you just Google treading mobility Stu Smith in the thing. I'll put it over here on this comment section over here on YouTube because that is a working link you can use. Um, I promise you, chances are most people that I see who can't tread lack hip, knee, and ankle mobility. That is the biggest problem I see. So, I mean, I like to think I coach treading and swimming pretty well. Is it the best place to get info on it? I don't know. I've taught many people to succeed through treading and swimming training. I think so, but you can decide. I will say this: I'm not a professional treader, nor am I a professional swimmer. I was never a competitive swimmer in high school or college. I was not a water polo player, but I have learned how to swim, and probably even better, learned how to coach non-swimmers. I say if I have a super strength, it is coaching non-swimmers how to swim, the CSS and treading, and then all the little pool skills that you got to do with it. All right, so let's see. Got another question over here on Instagram. Then we'll switch over to the to some videos critiquing of CSS. Marine Station and Okinawa. I'll be in Maryland in March, April for a follow-on course. Looking forward to training with you. Yeah, absolutely. Do you recommend swimming on rest days? If it's a technique focused swim workout, I do because I think treading, aqua jogging, little swimming in there can be very therapeutic. But if you're really trying to rest, don't get your heart rate up above 120, right? Just keep it low and focus on technique versus cardio conditioning. That's just my opinion on that one. Um, all right. So let's see if I can pull up a video and we will critique it. Make sure I got the volume down over here so I don't screw it up. All right. So volume down. All right. So I'll share this with you guys and you guys you tell me, well, I'll tell you what's going wrong and you can kind of join in and tell me what you think. All right. So you guys should see this. I'm going to start it now. Let's see what's going on with this pull, breathe, kick, glide. All right, so right there, you see how he's gliding, right? He's got a hand side by side, his head's up, so it looks kind of like this, right? Tell me what's more streamlined, this with your head down, right? Or this flying like Superman. Okay, so tuck your chin, one hand on top of the other, biceps should be squeezing your side of your head. Okay, that's one. This little dolphin kick here, probably doesn't need to be done right there because you still got some really good momentum off the wall you can use. Just kick, yeah, just do one dolphin kick if you're going to do one. Good transition into the stroke though. However, what is he not doing here? One, he's kicking a lot, so he's got more than one kick per stroke, and he's got no glide. Like so, he's doing a pull, breathe, kick, where he should be doing pull, breathe, kick, glide pull, breathe, kick, glide. So you can see, like, when he gets into the kick and glide position, like right here, he should stay here for one Mississippi, two Mississippi pull. But what happens? He goes right into a pull on one. So pull, breathe, kick, one. Pull, breathe, kick, one Mississippi. I can't even say it. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, pull. So he should be holding that glide a lot longer. So this is just one of those lessons. And hey, slow it down the RPMs, but you're not going to slow down your speed. You can actually get across this pool with a lot less effort if you work on this streamline and you work on this glide after the kick. There's just no glide here. So that is going to just tire you out more than it is going to improve your CSS score. All right, while we got some people, I got these pulled up. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here. So I don't think I showed this one last week. All right, so let's start this over. Kick off the wall. That looks smooth. Good. See that streamline? Much better. See how he's a little straight. He doesn't need to do all those dolphin kicks though. Just maybe one. See how he's got one hand down or one hand on top of the other, head down. Look at that glide. Nice transition. Only thing here is like you see this over rotation. There's no need to be looking backwards when you stroke. See that right there? Like he is like might as well just be looking backwards. Like look 90 degrees, a little bit in front of you even. But that over rotation is caused by too big of a bottom arm pull. And you'll see it on the way back here. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. That's good. So you see, he holds the glide really well. I just think he's got too big of a bottom arm pull, which is causing him to be awkward in his yeah. See how it just turns him over. So I like to do this. So whenever that top arm is pulling, I am turning my head with it. So I pretend I have a string tied to my nose to my hand, and as that goes down, I'm turning my head with it. Right? So I turn with the top arm and then breathe with the bottom arm. See what he's doing? He is he is turning, breathing, and pulling with that volume arm all at the same time. And it's just awkward. And that big bottom arm pull pops his head up a little too much and he loses forward momentum every stroke. But he's got a good kick and glide that he gets out of it that makes up for it. So he's actually swimming, right? Even though I had a whole lot of little nitpicky critiques in here, this is an 8-minute swim, right? Like I could be one of those guys that say, hey, it's an 8-minute swim. That's pretty good. But why don't we clean this up a little bit and make an 8-minute swim easier for you? And then if you're doing a PST, you swim first and you got push ups, sit ups, pull ups, mile and a half. You're going to be a little more rested at the same swim time to run, the rest of the PST. So that's where efficiency matters for the Navy PST in swim. All right. Um, should I do cardio before or after lifting? Hmm. For me, the answer depends, right? If you need to work on your cardio, I would do your cardio first. If you need to work on your lifting, I would do your lifting first. However, we tend to mix a little bit of it together with with our training. In fact, like workouts like this, like increase strength, but you're also maintaining and crushing the PST at the same time. That's our winter lift cycle where you actually get a little rest sets in there with some cardio in between your lifts. Not crazy, just a little bit. Keep yourself warm. I find it to be very helpful. I used to be a power lifter that would do 5 reps and then rest 5 minutes, and I just found that type of lifting, while fun when I was on a powerlifting team, um, it's not as transferable to like spec ops prep training. So there is a certain level of strength you need that you need to focus on heavy weights and train it. But you also may want to warm up with some higher rep calisthenics, then get your lifting done, then get some cardio done after that just to maintain your running and or swimming. Um, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I will say this, you need to eat more if you're trying to put on mass and you're trying to get a little stronger. We have guys usually with this winter lift cycle will put on 10, maybe 15 pounds of mass over the fall and winter, and get stronger and maintain all their run and cardio times because we're programming that as part of the training. So if you check out the term seasonal tactical fitness periodization, uh, in fact, I'll put it in the link here over at on the YouTube page, just because it's It's a link, it's an article. You can check it out and just exactly see what seasonal tactical fitness periodization means. It is just something I've been doing now for 25 years. Actually started when I was 30. Created it a couple of years before that, but then started doing it and coaching it about the time I was 30-ish. So it's something that I have found to be very helpful for me for the last 25 years to still being strong, still being able to run and swim, best of them. I mean, not world class best of them, but still have good PSTs type scores, 4-mile timed runs, 2-mile swims, and rucks, and things like that. Um, for the last 25 years with a lot fewer injuries and overtraining issues that tend to occur when you run year round at high volume or you lift year round at heavy weights without kind of ebbing and flowing through the year and maintaining all your elements of fitness without focusing on one and hurting one of the other. Like typically people will go to the weight room and won't do any cardio. It's fine. That's a good lift cycle if you want to do it that way. But if you got to maintain cardio for your job, you might want to add some running in there. So that's a good question. It's just as you can see, the answer really depends on what you're trying to do. What is a realistic amount of time to drop off a 3-mile run and a 15-meter per week? Ooh, I want to set some reasonable goal increments for upcoming block. That's a good question. I don't think you should necessarily be testing every week those events, but you should be able to monitor your goal pace for both of them throughout any workout you do, whether that is, you hit a 6-minute mile, but you can't do an 18-minute 3-mile yet, but you can do a 20-minute. So you're starting to learn how to run a 6-minute mile. Now you just got to get in shape to run it for 18 minutes, that same pace. It's going to take a little more conditioning that you may not notice a whole lot of improvement weekly. I at the shortest, I would say 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I would say you should notice some remarkable differences. When I say remarkable, I mean, 10, 15, 20 seconds per mile is very possible. For pacing, it really is going to be a combination of your technique and your conditioning for swimming. So, keep working on your pace on that and maintaining that pace for longer sets. That's a big that's a big one. Something I would do if I'm training for a 1500 is work on my 5-minute swim sets. All right. So if you can swim for 5 minutes and you can get 300 meters in 5 minutes, that is a yard per second or a meter per second. Swimming that stroke, whatever stroke that is. Um, so 300 meters or 300 yards in 300 seconds is 5. See if you can work on that. Work on the ease that is, right? Trying to get those 300s in 5 minutes, 300s in 5 minutes. Keep doing that. Do 5 sets of that, right? Next thing you know, you're stringing all of those together and you got yourself, um, 3 minutes or 5 minutes for every 300, 1500. You're looking at like 24, 25 minutes. That's pretty good. All right, let's do another video real quick. See what we got here. I think I have decent. This one's funny. This is my Jeff Nichols lookalike. He looks a lot like Jeff Nichols. Uh, Screen here. Somebody sent this to me. He's like, "That's Jeff Nichols' doppelganger," and he just saw him because he's got the sleeves, got the tattoos, got the reddish whatever color hair, shaved like Jeff's at sometimes, little beard. All right, so we got top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Now that Looks solid. I like this. This is really good. Good top arm, good bottom arm, breathing, kick, glide. Yeah, I don't have anything. I really don't have anything to say on this other than, yeah, you got to turn around fast. I think he was not sure that he needed to swim a full lap. Yeah, and you could probably even take out that breaststroke pullout and just go right into the stroke after a good kickoff and glide. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, pull. Yes, I like it. One Mississippi, two Mississippi. Ah, a little bit short. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, pull. Yeah, smooth. So what is that? That's 49-second 50. So with a very slow turnaround, so he's definitely sub 8. He's working on sub 8 pace there. That was good. I like that one. So how many miles a week do you recommend before shipping? When you and Jeff say it depends on the person, what exactly do you mean by that? Look, I'll be honest with you. It depends is kind of like a lazy answer, to be honest with you, but it does depend, right? It depends on a lot of factors of that runner. You know, is this runner a heavy runner, right? Is he 215 pounds, right? Might not want to put on 50, 60 miles a week like a lighter runner would. But the lighter runner may want to put on some mass, so he doesn't need to run 50, 60 miles a week. So over the years, I look back, one, at what I did, two, at all the people I've coached and what they did and have been doing. And I would say, our programs probably put them at the 30, 35 mile a week mark. However, some of them will add a long, slow distance run once a week just because that's what they like to do. That's cool. Whereas others may replace one of our longer runs with a non impact day and drop it down to 25 because they are nursing some kind of knee injury, tendonitis or shin splint or something, or they know that if they go too far, they're going to hurt that shin splint, which is kind of an iffy chance. You're taking some things by chance on that. My advice is try to be fully recovered. Whenever you're um, getting ready to ship. One thing I will tell you is, because of Navy is you're not going to run much at Navy boot camp for 8 to 10 weeks. You may want to peak as high as you can, not without injury, before you ship, because you're not going to run much at Navy boot camp, and you can use that boot camp as kind of like the taper prior to going into prep. Now that prep's 3 months, you can start ramping up your mileage and you have time to ramp up your mileage progressively and logically versus, oh crap, I got to jump into a 40-mile week after boot camp. You don't have to do that. You can start off at 15 or 20 and ramp up every week and, build up to 30, you know, miles. But my advice is this: don't get too accustomed to running long, slow distance to a detriment where you're not focused on a faster goal pace. It's great that you can go do a 10 miler in 80 minutes and run 8-minute miles, but if you're trying to apply that to a 4-mile timed run, you got to pick up the ends a little bit and try to get that at like a 7-minute pace. So you got to play around with some goal pace stuff. I typically like to play around with a 6-minute mile goal pace for a mile and a half or a shorter timed run, depending on your branch of service. And I like to play with a 7-minute mile pace for the longer timed runs that you will see in selection, like the 4-mile timed run at Buds or the 5-mile timed run at Ranger School, which I think they're changing up, this year. 2024's they're changing that test. They may not do a 5 miler, they may break it up and do a 2 and a 3 or something with something in the middle called the RPAT test. So we can talk about that another day. Um, can you send the recon link? Because I go for it, I can't find it. Come on, man. Go to stewsmithfitness.com. Then you click the Spec Ops link on the drop-down window if you have a phone, or the horizontal menu if you have a desktop, and you will see it. You can't miss it. Happy New Year, Stu. Do you think that an ab roller can build strength to do a hanging leg raise? Hmm. Um, yes and no. I like the ab roller, the ab wheel. I think those are great little tools. And in fact, you can do them on your toes, go all the way out and come back in. Whew, that's next level. So it can work on core stability for sure. However, hanging leg raises also require grip. Right? I've seen a lot of people not be able to do a lot of knee raises or leg raises because of grip issues more than core issues. So my advice is work both. Work a whole bunch of core, stability stuff, knee ups, flutter kicks because it's a hip flexor too. Sit ups even, working the hip flexors. Those are going to help you get those legs up. But you also need to work your grip. A question about let polo as a sport. What other water sports could situation, or would water polo be enough? Water polo is enough. I mean, you swim and you tread a lot in water polo. So, swimming a master's program is just going to be a little more technically oriented, and swimming conditioning for like 500 meters, maybe even more, 1500 meters for some swim tests that are out there. Um, so, yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt you. However, just remember there's more to this journey than just swimming. So you need to do a swim workout. If you need to have coaches with you around that swimming workout, by all means, hire a coach, join a team, master's program, water polo club, whatever you need to do to help you learn how to do that stuff a little better, a little more efficiently. That's probably what you're going to learn the most. Then you got to run, you got to PT, you got to lift, you got to ruck. So it's a all process that, I think a lot of people tend to focus on just one thing and one thing only. And they'll swim for like 3 months and then their run goes to crap. I actually had the same discussion with someone today. I was like, yeah, you need to be running and swimming every day, not just swimming. Um, Going Marine OCS in 2 weeks. Nice. Good luck. What should I be doing the days leading up? Also saw you don't like ice baths. Is there any alternative way to get ready for the cold? Um, it's not that I don't like ice baths. That's I just find people who use them say that they're great for recovery. When sleep and nutrition is probably the best thing you can do for recovery. Um, I try to put everything when people say this is great for recovery. I try to put it in comparison to adding better sleep and adding better nutrition, right? And if it helps you with addition to that, hey, that's great. But I think you'll find that if you eat well, sleep well, um, no foam roller program, uh, sauna, hot tub, you name it, masseuse, is going to fully help you recover, like sleeping and nutrition. But if it's great for, exposure to cold, sure. I think so. But you got to remember this too. If you're getting exposure to cold for buds, I mean, first phase buds, water temperature gets down to what, 55, 56 in the winter. It's usually in the upper 60s, maybe even lower 70s in the summer. You still get cold, but it's not ice cold, right? So you just basically need water in the 50s, and you'll see that's not that cold. It's not that hard to do. Um, So yeah, I mean that's a great way to get used to the cold, but you don't need to get used to ice water cold. So sorry if that answers just about everywhere, but you know, took official PST the other week. 8:59 swim, 8:49 swim, 90, 85, 18, 9:44. Not bad, not bad run. About 75%. And my mouth became dry, cotton mouth. Any suggestions? Yeah, you need to sip water throughout the test, or you may even want to add some carbs to your uh, sipping of um, water, maybe some Gatorade or something, just something with a little bit of extra kick into it because you probably bonked on that run. Um, and there's an article I wrote a while back ago about if your run is worse after like PT and swim. Um, in fact, the title of the article is your run always worse after push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups events? Learn how to transition. This teaches you some strategy on transitioning out of the upper body pump and the glycogen burn that you get from all those max rep calisthenics and the swim. So read this article. This may help you in your next PST. But yeah, if you don't see the link over here on Instagram, I'll put it over here. But you can also just Google the title in there. You'll be good to go. Um, let's see here. What days do you try to do lives and around what time? So I tend to do these lives Monday and Tuesday at 9:30. Every now and then I might add another, but like clockwork, I will be here Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, 9:30. That is on my schedule. If I can add a third in a week, I will, or a podcast, I will do that. But for the most part, you will see me Monday, Tuesday, 9:30. I'm not always on Instagram. Just depends on how my um, computer's working. Like last week, I think it got cut off because I screwed something up. But I'm always on YouTube and Facebook. So follow the YouTube page, and you'll get an alert. Get a notification that I'm going live. What goggles do you recommend when swimming preparing for buds? I don't really have a set pair. I would recommend practicing drown proofing and underwater swimming and those type of things with a pair of goggles on, not a mask, because you will take that without a mask or goggles. You just got to get used to water going up your nose. But you also got to learn when you're swimming with fins for long distances or swimming, a 500-meter fast, 500-yard fast, you need to wear a mask. So you got to learn to be a mouth breather. So my advice is when you're swimming freestyle or CSS, wear a mask. When you're practicing treading and pool skills and underwater stuff, wear goggles. But you can Google it and see what they use. I mean, I just use Speedo, and I think my mask is made by um, Mars, Mares. So, all right, everybody, happy New Year. Happy New Year to you guys. A few more questions. I think I might have one more video to share. Let me see what I got. Yeah, I got one this morning that I thought was pretty good to share. So let me go ahead and share that and see what we got here. So kicking off the wall, good solid. One hand on top of the other, double arm pull. Okay. Now I will say this double arm pull here looks more like a jumping jack. You see that? Like that right there is all shoulders. You got to look up the term breaststroke pullout. And you'll see that that right there, when you're using all shoulders, is not as strong as when you're grabbing water with all of the elbow down, out in front of you, like two oars in the water. You're pulling and pushing almost like you're doing a muscle up. So think muscle up, water one direction down or behind you, so you go the other way, versus this omnidirectional movement of your arms that really is ineffective. So this is a ineffective pull. And I definitely wouldn't do your underwaters this way. You definitely want to learn the breaststroke pullout to add to your underwater swims. Kick and recover. The kick may be weak here. I didn't see much of a glide there. So top arm, bottom arm, kick one Mississippi, two. Uh, one Mississippi, two Mississippi, eh, one Mississippi, two Mississippi. Pull. Okay. He's flirting with it. Overall, not bad. He's keeping his head down. He's got a good top arm pull. I like that. I don't like this breaststroke pullout. Oh, he skips it. Now there's something for you. I think you'll see that if you time the first length, which was 25, 26, 27, he kicked off about 27 and a half, and the end of this is, yeah, I think he's actually a little faster on this back half without that breaststroke pullout. So sometimes that breaststroke pullout helps you, sometimes it doesn't. If you're not very good at it, I would say just take it out and transition it to the stroke like he did on his way back. Like if you take a look at the stroke on the way back, all he did was kick off the wall, glide a little bit, come up to breathe. It's pretty good. He didn't lose any momentum. Now coming here, let's see what he did with this. He kicks, recovers. Didn't really lose any momentum there either, though. A lot of people lose momentum though. In fact, I've done a couple of. In fact, I did this article. That's just a funny title: "To Pull Out or Not," and there's a debate on whether or not you should pull out or not. People laugh when I say that, and I get it. You know, check out this article. It's to pull out or not CSS debate. That one's pretty fun. So let me stop sharing here. See if there's any other questions here. By chance, do you have any advice for log PT? Because when I did log PT at Hell Day SOCOM, the pain on my shoulders was unreal. Um, yeah, I mean it hurts when it's on your shoulder. So work some traps. See if you can get some traps under there. That'll help. But you definitely want to work shoulders, overhead presses. We tend to do push presses. One thing I like to do as boat crew leader at Buds was make sure we were all pushing together. So I timed the up to be almost like a down up. So every time I'd say, up, right? We would hear the instructor say up. We all did a slight down and we added our a little slight push press into it. That took a lot of stress off the knees. Now doing those little 24-hour events, you don't have that kind of time to really become a team. So you're probably going to feel the shoulders more than you normally would. Um, but yeah, once you start moving as a team under that log, that's where the magic happens, right? But unfortunately, the log and the boat will either make a team or break a team, and it's kind of up to you and your team to be as one versus trying to drive other people out. Sometimes you have to do that just because someone's not even trying, but that's another story, another day. Let's see. Let's see. No more here. What stroke do I need to learn for underwater swims? Well, check out the term breaststroke pullout because that's really all you're doing. You're grabbing water, pulling it straight down behind you, not doing some jumping jack pull like I just discussed. Um, breaststroke pullout, kick and recover with a tight streamline, right? And hold that glide. And it's up to you how you want to kick. My advice is use whatever kick is more powerful. For me, my scissor kick is more powerful than my breaststroke kick. Now, over the years, I have kind of observed that people who grew up swimming athletes probably developed a really good breaststroke kick or frog kick, right? However, those of us who grew up on land and did all of our sports on land running, um, we probably developed our hips in a running formation movement versus a breaststroke movement. So it might be wiser for the non-swimming athlete to stick to the scissor kick, and the swimming athlete to do better. You might do better with a breaststroke kick. It doesn't really matter. My advice is just do the one that works best for you. But if you're a swimming athlete and you're concerned on like which one do I need to focus on, my advice is if you're a swimming athlete, do the breaststroke. If you're a running athlete, do the scissor kick because you're probably going to be stronger working the legs similar to running versus working the legs like you're doing a breaststroke kick. Good question though. All right. Let me see. A couple more questions over here, and then we'll call it a day. Can running on a track that has some curves on it, a bit incline, affect your pace? Wind at 8 miles per hour can affect it too. Yes. Um, my city doesn't have a straight place to run, and it is very windy here. Do the best you can. We run in the wind too. We have a track, we have a beach, we have a trail that has some hills to it. We run on all of them. So find something that you can run on. If you can find an indoor track, that's money, right? Then you really focus on your pace. But my advice is try to find a piece of straight land somewhere, whether it's sidewalk or a parking lot or something else, maybe a mall parking lot or something where you can run the perimeter of it and measure it out in your car and see where your quarter mile and half mile marks are and just note those and hit them. Hit your pace. I remember when I was doing it, I'd get in my car, drive a route in my town to where I knew I would get 4 or 5 miles, and then I just go run it. You know, now you got Google Maps can help you with that even more. All right. When running one of your programs like Air Force Special Warfare workout, right there, it's a good one. IFT, OFT prep. Um, is it going to be detrimental if I include a deload week every fourth week or so? I find it helps me stave off injury. Yeah, absolutely. But do something in your deload week. Not a week off, like I see you said here. Not necessarily a week off, but a week of mobility and recovery workout. Sure, if you need it, absolutely. In fact, this is a lesson to all of you. If you're using workouts like this, or these are generic training programs. They may not be specifically designed for you. In fact, they weren't, right? You may have to add some mileage if you're a better runner than in this book, or you may have to take out mileage and replace with biking or more swimming because you just can't handle that kind of running volume, or you can't handle that we're doing 100 plus pull-ups in a workout. You may have to resort to pull down for some of it. So, make changes to it. In fact, I wrote an article on just how to do that. It's called Adapting Programs to Your Level of Performance and Skill Set. And it works real well. The title is Adapting Program to Your Level of Performance and Still Reach Your Goals. So it's basically taking any program, doesn't have to be mine. It can be any program that you find in a magazine, online, you buy somebody's generic training program for pull-ups or running or whatever. It's not designed for you. You may have to tweak it just a little bit to fit your schedule, your facilities, your time per day, days per week. All of those things make training for you more personal. So that's my advice if you're coaching yourself and you're just using these as, guidance. You know, sometimes it's great. You can do everything in it. It perfectly matches you. I try to make it meet and kind of like an intermediate level of fitness and build into an advanced level of fitness. always hit everybody the same. We're all a little bit different. Good question though. All right, Jeffrey, haven't seen you in a while. In the early 2000s, I did 230, or 300 to 400 push-ups, 300, 400 push sit-ups, 100 pull-ups in a single 2-hour workout. I always wondered if it was enough to pass the physical test at Buds. Um, yeah, I would say if you could do that kind of volume in an hour, 2-hour workout, um, that's the type of volume that you will see. But unfortunately, not many people get kicked out for pull-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups. People tend to get kicked out or quit because they're cold, wet, and sandy while doing pull-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups. They're under a log, they're under a boat, they're just running. Running's probably the biggest killer than anything out there. Um, as far as people deciding this isn't for them, or not meeting the standard. A lot of people practice 50-meter underwaters like, they're really sweating it, where, most people don't even fail that one. Prior to that, 50-meter underwater swim that you'll do in the first week of first phase, you'll probably lose 5 or 10 people for just the grind of buds already, and it's only the first week. So the long days tend to get you more than anything. But yeah, I would say if you're looking for the kind of volume that you need to be able to do, sure, 300 pull-ups, couple hundred pull-ups, couple hundred sit-ups, 100 plus pull-ups in a workout. Absolutely. In fact, I would say even today at 55, I don't really call it an upper body workout unless I have 100 pull-ups done in it. So it is um, one of those levels of fitness. I think is a good level to build up to. Do you accept videos of running technique for critique? Yeah, you can send it. Um, I think watching yourself run and then comparing it to like a really good fast runner, maybe a 800 runner or 1500-meter runner, you might really see what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. But I can look at it and give it to you. I will tell you this honestly: I'm a much better swimming coach than I am running coach. I can coach running. In fact, most of my coaching techniques for running is run the way you naturally feel is running. Then, if that looks awkward or inefficient, then we can fix something. We had a guy here running with us recently that um, just looked so weird running. I took a video of him run. I was like, this is not right. We need to work on this. You're lifting your knees way too much. And, it's just really awkward. So we shortened his stride a little bit. And now he's running sub nines and it looks a lot more, it looks perfect, perfect efficiency. So I can, but it kind of has to be one of those glaring things for me to critique to say, yeah, you're not running right. 9 times out of 10, it's an overstride that is causing a lot of your pain and slowness. So you have to shorten your stride just a little bit, increase your cadence. So, but I'm happy to look at it. Send it. Challenge me. Let's see if it's something I can do. Um, so somebody asks about a Hageland's disformity. Got any tips for proper exercises to fix my feet? You know what? I don't. I've never heard of that. To be honest with you, so I would have to Google it and see what the science says on it. See what a physical therapist says on it. My advice would be, if you have something that has a name to it like that, especially a word that says disformity, is go to a physical therapist and talk to them because, or go to a YouTube video with a physical therapist working on that particular ailment. You may find it. The internet's incredible. I changed out my air conditioning on a YouTube video the other day in my car. So Find all kind of stuff out there. All right, folks. I think that's it for me. I'm gonna have to go. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate your time. Sorry I missed yesterday. Is one of those busy 1st of January days for me. But I'll make it up. I might do another one of these this week, maybe on Thursday. But if you follow me over on YouTube, you'll see it pop up. Or if you're happen to be on Instagram, you see me pop up. I'll be on here for half an hour, 45 minutes, and we'll take some questions and answers and head into the rest of the week. All right, folks. Happy New Year. I will see you guys later on. So right now, I'm tentatively scheduled for 9:30 on Thursday. I just wrote it down. We'll do a 9:30 live on Thursday, and bring your questions. And if you don't feel like asking a question while live, just email me, stu@stewsmith.com. In fact, for sticking around, I really do appreciate it. Go to stewsmithfitness.com, use the code live15, and you can save 15% on books and ebooks over there. So I appreciate your time. You guys, you guys have a good one.